UVCE Chronicles, sing it loud. Echoes of our past we're proud. From the heart of Bangalore to the world we soar.
Hello to all our viewers and listeners. Welcome to another exciting episode of UVC Chronicles. My name is Varsha Rao from second year AIML.
Hi, I'm Adrian. I am from the 2023 batch of Electronics and Communication Engineering.
And on today's episode, we are joined by Mr. G. Kumar Naik, a civil engineering graduate from the 1985 batch. He has served in the civil services for over 3 decades. He is currently the Member of Parliament from the Raichur Lok Sabha constituency. Thank you for joining us today, sir. Welcome to UVC Chronicles.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me over here. It's been wonderful to interact with you.
So, sir, at UVC Chronicles, we believe that nothing beats a first hand introduction. So, I would like you to please briefly introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. I'm a Kannadiga. I'm a born and brought up Bangalorean. I was born in Bangalore. Then my father was in the government service. He retired as a deputy commissioner of commercial taxes. So we moved from place to place. I have studied in Chikmagalur, Ballari, Belgaum, and Mysore and Bangalore. Okay, so that is the journey that I have undertaken. In Mysore, I joined the Sri Ramakrishna Vidyashala, Mysore. That was the 3-year high school journey, which is it's a well-known institution. At that point of time, hardly there were two institutions in the state where the residential facility was there. Okay. Subsequently, I came to Bangalore for my PU. I joined the National College Baswangudi. We stay. My house is in Wilson Garden, the old house. So we stay there, and I used to go to Baswangudi National College. Subsequently, I joined the UVCE. Joining the engineering course was a kind of an option which was almost every student who would score a little good marks in science and mathematics and other things. So he would definitely opt for that. So and UC was the topmost institution at that point of time, as it is now. So it was an obvious choice. I was lucky to get in. And the civil engineering choice was a little, no, you must be wondering why civil engineering. Even at that point of time, civil engineering was in demand as it is even today. Every time civil engineering is required. But I had chosen with a very specific fact in mind that that was one of the subjects which was available for civil services. Okay. We had to take two subjects in the civil service examination, UPSC. We had engineering subjects also, civil engineering, mechanical and electrical and electronics engineering. So I had taken civil engineering as that would perhaps provide the most of best of opportunities for employment in case civil services did not work out. So that's it about joining the UEC. Subsequently, we can discuss as we go forward.
So, you graduated from UVC Civil Engineering batch of 1985. So, what do you remember the most vividly about those days, both inside and outside the classroom?
Uh, Varsha, we are all children of our times, as you will rightly appreciate. It's very difficult for me to get into your shoes and see what you actually feel and do inside and outside. I can tell you because I need to tell you because that is the way you can connect with those times. Those were the times in 1980s. The Karnataka was undergoing a wonderful times. We had a wonderful movement called as Bandaya and Navya in Kannada Sahitya. We used to have prominent writers who were doing wonderfully well across the country, across the world. So it was in that moment we were becoming adolescents and opening our eyes. And that was also a time when the cassette revolution took place. Cassettes were introduced for the first time across the country, and the songs were available on the cassette. And that was also the time when Kannada Bhavagita revolution also took place. Hope you have heard of somebody called as K.S. Nisar Ahmad. Nisar Ahmad is an important poet of Karnataka. His Nityotsava cassette was the path-breaking thing. These things have really helped us grow as we have grown as individuals today. And another important event which was happening across the state was the something called as Lankesh Patrike. I don't know you are aware of that. Lankesh Patrika is a weekly. It started sometimes sometime during 80s. So a single person by name P. Lankesh, he is a wonderful, a great talent the Karnataka has seen. So he started a magazine by his in his own name. It was run without an advertisement. These days, you see social media say, please contribute. We don't take any advertisements and things like that. In Karnataka, Lankesh did it in 1980, and you will not believe, youngsters and many of us used to wait for it to come out on Thursdays. At its peak, I think the readership was over 2.5 to 3 million people in Karnataka, and it was absolutely frank, fair, wonderfully written. Editorials were very knowledgeable, intellectual, and at the same time scathing about anything that the government was doing wrong and things like that. So, and it was also a platform for many of these writers, youngsters, journalists, and things like that. We thoroughly enjoyed all that. Not that I wrote anything or not that I sing anything, but these are all the things which helped me to become what I am today. Yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, how are your days at UVC? What are your fond memories from your days during civil engineering?
Yeah, till now I told you about how Karnataka or Bangalore felt during those times. For us at UVC, also it was a wonderful time. All of us, in getting into a degree and having found a college of our choice and things like that. First year was at the KR Circle campus only. So we had classes being taken in the campus as well as the central college campus and things like that. It was a breeze. No, 1 year I really don't know how it passed, and we had a lot of interaction. We tried to make as many friends as possible because we knew that as a civil engineering students, we had to move out to the campus the next year. So it so happened in the second, third, and fourth year we spent at the university campus. It was newly constructed building, and it was good. I mean, it was nice atmosphere to study and things like that. But however, we missed being in the main campus. That was a sad thing about it. But otherwise, no, it was a regular travel from home to institution via university buses they used to have. And you can't imagine, no, it hardly took about 35 or 40 minutes to reach from city center to university. So that was those were the days. So in the civil engineering campus, adjoining that we had architecture campus also. So it was nice. We had two streams flowing together. In fact, maybe they thought that architecture and civil are to go further together. That's why they kept them close to each other, I suppose. That might have been the idea. We had very interesting and very dedicated teachers, set of professors we had. I remember K. Narayan Murthy, who is no longer with us, Mr. R. Jagdish, wonderful teachers who they taught me, I think, structures and strength of mechanics and things like that. And we had Satyamurthy, who was very good in our soil mechanics. Baswaya was there. He was also very good. Professor Justo at Highway Engineering, he was a legend. He was an iconic figure. So he had authored many textbooks. So across the country, people used to study his books. And we were very fortunate to have him. And he was a wonderful teacher and a great human being. He supported and he encouraged us, whatever small good things, interesting things that we could come up with. He was there to encourage us and encourage us to think along the scientific lines. They said he used to say that is the way to learn. Learning to learn is important rather than just acquiring a bit of knowledge over the period of 2-3 years. That's not enough. But to know how the knowledge is formed and how it has to be applied on a daily basis when you go out of the institution. That used to be his emphasis. I think overall we had a very good time there. We did have some interaction with other streams also there, humanities and things like that. A lot of occasional strikes and things like that. We were affected by that, though we were not very part of it. we did have an impact of that kind of a university atmosphere. As I mentioned to you earlier, then my interest was there in some Kannada literature too. So I took the opportunity to interact with many of the professors there in the Kannada department at that point of time. All that helped me subsequently. I never knew that I was doing it for passion. That's it. So those were the times I mentioned to you about the Bhavagita revolution at that point of time. Everybody was rediscovering our poets, Coimpo or Dara Bendre and such personalities. Being adjacent to Kannada department helped me in interacting with them also. So I think overall, we should have such an atmosphere where students get to interact, and we should officially have a couple of courses where we can opt for such interesting stuff. It need not be kind of literature itself. It could be sociology or political science, whichever the student wants. To be bogged down or narrowed down to a very, very specific field for 4 long years is quite a bit, I suppose.
I just wanted to maybe dwell a little on how you perhaps made the decision to join the civil services. So I think in the introduction you mentioned that you were very clear about your choice of engineering. So I think the idea of going into the government services were already embedded much before you had joined engineering itself. So
Yeah,
how
yeah.
did you come to that decision? How did you prepare, and then eventually, end up in the civil services?
As I told you, I'm from the civil services family. My father was also in the state commercial taxes department. So that way, it was always that there is something called as Indian Administrative Service, which holds a lot of possibilities, and you can serve the people. We can move around the country, and you can head a lot of important initiatives. All these things were told to us from very childhood. So that was there in the mind all along. And the decisions, as I told you, to seek civil engineering was also based on that. Uh, and why civil service? Maybe at that point of time, that was one of the most aspiring kind of a career that civil service, I mean, the young adult would choose. Uh, the computer revolution was just coming when I joined the engineering, and subsequently in my third and fourth year, these things had started. Though there were whispers that things are going to change so dramatically, and there'll be wonderful opportunities and things like that. But somehow by that time I had made up my mind, and a lot of investment emotionally, and in some other preparations were already done. So that's how perhaps I did not really go like my friends. Many of my friends who were in civil engineering, they branched out to computer science after their graduation. They went abroad. They sought courses in computer science and computer applications for various civil engineering, mechanical engineering, things like that. So you know all that, the journey which our generation has done. Somehow that did not happen with me. I was very focused on civil services, and soon after the graduation, I wrote the GATE. I got a very good percentile. I got a seat in Indian Institute of Science and things like that for structural engineering, but I never actually went there. So I left it. I sat at home. I started studying for that. I knew that it's going to be a tough examination, so we had to study a lot, and I focused on that. And I got into Indian Customs and Central Excise Service to begin with. That is a very interesting service, and at that point of time, it was very it was on almost beating the Indian Administrative Service in its popularity, because Mr. VP Singh was the finance minister. They had announced that if you do well in your service as a tax collector, you would perhaps be given rewards and things like that. So many of the youngsters were keen on such interesting career. But I was focused on Indian Administrative Service. I wrote again. Here once again, in my first attempt, I wrote with civil engineering and public and history as my subjects. But I found, and you can check with many similar situated people. Engineering subject to write a civil service is tough. You have to get hold of all the 4 years at a time, 4 5 years, I mean, whatever they have studied, and you have to compete with best of the lot, and there's no doubt about that. And it would be very limited number of seats, so it may be slightly uh, better to go for a social science subjects. That I realized after getting into customs. I dropped both my subjects, both the civil engineering and history. I took public administration and Kannada literature. Okay, so I never knew that I knew so much about literature. The moment I started interacting with my teachers and things like seniors, then I found that no way. Well, I can as well take this subject and do well. So I studied deeper into that, but not too much of time actually. Within 8 months to 1 year, those both the subjects had been I could face the examination.
Sir, how was your UPSC preparation experience? Could you just walk us through that entire process? And UPSC is considered one of the toughest examinations in the country, even to this day. So, how did you crack the exam? What was your preparation strategy?
No, it is definitely a very tough examination. In Bangalore, it was particularly challenging at that point of time because people were not aware of civil services to begin with, youngsters, and there were hardly anybody preparing for that. I'm not exaggerating if I tell you that in the entire university campus, there might have been only handful of them who were aware of UPSC and trying for that. Okay, so whenever I used to get some time, I used to go and sit in the library and try to do some relevant study for UPSC, general studies and things like that. Which means that I used to rummage the books on political science or economics or whatever. So somehow word had gone out that this guy is interested in UPSC, is trying to do. So many, for quite a few of them, I was a object of interest. They would come and inquire and things like that. But unfortunately, I did not have a study partner, where I could share my thoughts and discuss about the subjects and things like that. It was tough. I should have gone to Delhi or Hyderabad at that point of time. I should have made that effort subsequently, soon after the graduation, should have gone and studied there, and maybe perhaps it would have been better. In the city of Bangalore, we did not have much atmosphere there. Even in the university, also hardly anything. But whenever I spoke to my professors about this, they were very encouraging, and they would help me to run through the question papers and things like that, give me an advice and things, and help me out with the various textbooks where I can find those syllabus covered in a much better fashion than the regular textbooks. It was helpful. But then, obviously, on hindsight is always 2020. So one could have perhaps immediately gone to a place called, like Hyderabad or Delhi and joined some courses where there trainees were there, and you would have a company to study for the UPSC. That would have been better. I missed that. Maybe I lost a couple of years also because of that. But these days, youngsters are very mobile, and parents are also very discerning. They don't mind investing on the kids now. So that's why Karnataka is faring far better these days compared to my days. I think in my batch, there are hardly 2-3 of us from Karnataka. One Mr. Bhaskar Rao in the IPS, who was the city commissioner. Remember, so very few of us could be there.
So, do you think coaching is necessary for UPSC, or will students be able to crack the exam just through dedicated self-preparation?
I just want to emphasize this fact, Adrian. This is a competitive examination. It is not an examination to acquire a degree by passing in first class or things like that. You need to be there in the top position to be able to get into the list. The person who is not in the list does not mean that he is any less of a student and less he has got less knowledge or whatever. On that day, he has been able to score that much. So it's very, very important that you get or take help from whichever quarter you can get. If there are specified, coaching centers who have specialized in this, especially in the general studies and things like that, and there are some. We used to have two subjects to be taken, options to be taken. So those times, even options were offered for coaching and things like that. So it is. I think that one should actually go and seek out help like that. And if you don't require, that's a different ball game. But if there is an option, my advice would be go and take it, because you don't want to waste a year. You don't want to lose out on anything. You acquire with time is limited. We need to do that, and we won't write the examination. So my suggestion would be, if you find a good coaching institution, please join that. For that, if you are able to mobilize finances and be located at an appropriate place without wasting too much of time on travel and things like that, that's the best thing that can happen.
You joined the IAS in the 1990 and served in diverse roles across Karnataka. So, can you just give us a brief overview of the journey as a civil servant?
Yeah, you know what is civil service and what the role IAS plays. It is the mention of All India service is there in the Constitution of India. So, because as you know, when the framers of Constitution and the freedom fighters were envisioning this country, they realized that no, this country is too vast, varied, and we need to have some stabilizing force. So that's how they thought of Indian administrative service, Indian police service, and things like that. So what we study and what we understand as the constitution, what we understand as the challenges of the country and society, all these things more or less the attempt is made to bring in some kind of a cohesion in our attitude and in our outlook and things like that. So that's why you find across the country similar structure. So if you want to hear what I have gone through, it can be easily found in any book written by a civil servant. He would be remembering and writing more or less the similar things. The journey would be more or less similar, but the experiences will be unique, and obviously you can understand that. I started as assistant commissioner in Hunsur and Kumta subdivisions. Part of the district is called subdivision, as you know. Hunsur and Kumta. Then subsequently, I worked in a couple of departments in Bangalore. Then I was posted as CEO Zilla Panchayat in Belgaum. Belgaum is a huge district. Even today, it is not divided like other districts have been bifurcated or trifurcated. So I had an opportunity to work there for 3 years as CEO Zilla Panchayat, working with people, elected people at the grassroots level. What a tremendous experience! I tell you, I had about 83 members of the Zilla Panchayat. If you include, the Taluk Panchayat, the Gram Panchayat members who are elected, I mean, there are lots of them. Even if you tell that about 50 people are going to come for a day, so it will take perhaps a year to complete them. I mean, that is the number of people, elected representatives. That gave us a good grounding in how to interact with people, how to know what they want, how to try to understand, how to dovetail the programs. All these things, it was a good grounding, I must say. So that's a way it grows in civil service. Then I was posted as a deputy commissioner of Raichur district. So Raichur is my karma bhumi, as you know now. So from Belgaum, I was posted to Raichur. Raichur was extremely backward. The parameters were comparable to, I should not be saying Bimaru, or even worse, even sub-Saharan countries also seem to fare at par or better than Raichur. That was the situation. Over a period of time, last 30 years, many things have changed, so things have gone better. So I had 3 years of tenure there also in Raichur. That was also a learning experience. So you should understand about the role of a deputy commissioner in the district. He is absolute monarch. He used to be. Today it is not there. There are so many changes have come up and things like that. At that point of time, the collector was something where everybody looked up to him, and the buck stopped there. I tell you once again, the technology changes everything. So mobile technology came and it changed whole thing drastically. Because I tell you, even during the law and order situation, when things would be happening there, and you are there to ultimately take the responsibility and the decision, and the buck stops with you. It changed. It somehow dramatically changed. Everybody had a phone. Everybody was contacting every other person. So the role of deputy commissioner became a little more complex than what it used to be. Then from there, I was posted to Mysore as a deputy commissioner. Mysore tenure was also very, very interesting for me, because I was going back to my place, because we have stayed there in Mysore for some time. I studied in Mysore for more than 3 years. So friends were there. Apart from that, it was quite a contrast from Raichur to Mysore. Mysore is far more developed in terms of education and equality in the society and things like that. It was much developed state, developed district. I had a good experience there also, conducting Dasra, giving a different, a new dimension to that. It was getting into a rut, saying that Dasra means that old Veena and Tambur and all such things, Sangeeta, Karnataka or Hindustani, people will not come, youngsters will not come. So what to do with that? So there, I had to think out of the box. I had to interact with local leaders, local artists. Nobody should be hurt. They should not feel that Dasra is being mutilated. So we had to bring something and bring youngsters back to the Dasra. So that was also interesting. We did something called as Yuva Dasara, and so many other parameter dimensions we involved, and we brought out something called as gold card pass also. If somebody comes now, people could go around everywhere in Mysore and participate in different programs during the Dasara for a prize, of course. So these concepts were new. We introduced at that point of time. So subsequently, I think subsequent 20-25 years of journey is quite interesting. But I will just put it in a nutshell. I will say that in 2-3 major departments I have worked and I have thoroughly enjoyed. So one is in education department, from primary education to university education, higher education. I have worked at different points in time as a commissioner of public instruction and secretary, primary and secondary education, and a principal secretary for higher education. That also I have worked during my tenure. So it was very interesting. The education was also very interesting in sense how the journey, how the society, we have been part of that story. It's very interesting. See, while we were assistant commissioners and deputy commissioners, we conducted something called as total literacy campaign. I don't know whether you have heard of those words, Sampurna Saksharata Andolan, because each one teach one kind of thing. So this was more or less a kind of program where everybody would be told and they would be made to understand the importance of education, and that they should invariably send their children to school. That was the kind of movement that was there. Subsequently, as a commissioner and secretary, I had the opportunity to work in a program called as Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan was when the government took under its fold to do the primary education universalization of primary education. That was done. So that was also a very interesting phase. Now with higher education, as more and more youngsters from that the train which has started about 10 years back, now they are, 20 years back, now they are in their graduation and things like that. So all these things were very interesting. So I have also worked in the power sector. So that was also very interesting. Why that sector interested me was, that was a time when unbundling was happening. Unbundling means, in terms of power sector, to separate generation, transmission, and distribution. Okay, these three things were very, very quite specialized in their own way, and they need to be treated separately, and the management should be separate for each of them. That was the idea. So unbundling was an interesting thing that was happening, and also attempted privatization, corporatization and privatization. Earlier, we used to have boards and departments and things like that. You might not have heard of Department of Electricity. There used to be a Department of Electricity which did our Sharavati and other projects. Our engineers have worked themselves in all those forests and things like that. Subsequently, we now have the companies. Bangalore Electricity Supply Company is there. Bangalore Power Transmission Company is there. So this is the journey we had. I had the good fortune of being Commissioner of Bangalore City, BBMP Corporation. and also the BDA, Bangalore Development Authority. So I could look at Bangalore closely and contribute whatever I could at that point of time. So that took me almost 33 years of journey. It was very interesting, very satisfying, but not that you could do everything. Not that you could do everything. Yeah.
So that's quite the diverse experience, sir. So you've worked across multiple departments, and as you said, I think most of the people in the Indian Administrative Service echo the same journey you've had. Maybe people who actually join the services get this opportunity to work across multiple diverse industries, different verticals within the government. I think that experience is unparalleled, and
And one more thing,
most of
Adrian. See, as youngsters, we could never have aspired to head certain, such sectors, companies. As a youngster of, with 38, 40, you are already heading something called as, Bescom. It's a huge, company, and the turnover is in billions of dollars, not even rupees. So that kind of a company that is. Who will give an opportunity there? So those were the considerations which prompted many of youngsters like me at that point of time to join the civil service. Today it is totally different. Today you guys make the world. You think of something, you start up, and you sell whatever you have done to some bigger company, and you are sitting on hundreds of crores, and you have done wonderful work already in life and impacting so many people. That is very, I'm very jealous of that also. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
So, sir, I just wanted to maybe when you maybe take a look back at your career over these 33 years, um, I'm sure everyone is aware of all the glitz, glamour, power, responsibility that comes with the administrative services. But maybe are there some incidents in your mind that were particularly quite challenging to deal with, or maybe you really enjoyed doing? So maybe could you share a few of those instances over your career?
Uh, what was quite challenging was to deal with the law and order situation in Mysore area when this water disputes were there at that point of time also. When there was an issue with Kaveri water, the drought being in Karnataka, and we were running short of water, and we had to release water to Tamil Nadu at that point of time. All the farmers were agitated. They were really angry that no, we are trying to release water as per the agreement and things like that. So we had to deal with the situation. So a lot of representations, many organizations would come on a regular basis to the deputy commissioner's office and say, no, please take care of this, to do this, do that. So it was quite a hot atmosphere at that point of time. Even as a deputy commissioner, it was difficult to easily move around alone. So I had to take a lot of protection and move around, because farmers are farmers, our own people. When they are in a different mood, crowd has got no, what do you say? A crowd is a different person. It's not a regular person whom I come across on a daily basis. A farmer comes, he's so polite, and he knows what he's talking and things like that. But if you are in a group, it does not apply only to farmers. It applies to any crowd. As a law and order person responsible for law and order in the district, you will be facing that situation. I faced that during the Kaveri issue in Mysore. Um, One of the farmers had, just in his own bravado, he had gone and jumped into Kabini reservoir, and he could not come out. He did not plan to commit suicide. He just was it was to make a point that he jumped into that. So it was a very, very sensitive situation at that point of time. His body was lying there, and farmers were not allowing us to take him out for cremation and things like that. It was very tough. So we had very mature leaders. Mr. Madegowda, who was the leader from Mandya, he was there. So I happened to know him. I met him. I requested him you will have to help us to solve this issue. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. So we can't keep issue lingering like that. So ultimately, we could make the situation a little less tense, and we could talk to the farmers and make them disperse. This is one of the incidents. There were repeated incidents of this type during that time. So I had to resort to lathi charge also, which is not a very nice thing to do. And in one or two occasions, my personal security officer saved me from grievous hurt. You See, stones of good size, they are thrown at you, and it can land on your head. He suffered for me. My PSY, even now we are in touch. So such things have happened. So we were in tough situation. We have come out, and we are able to tackle the issue subsequently. So these were some of the issues which pertain to being a deputy commissioner or an executive magistrate. Coming to administration or development administration, as I mentioned to you, education was a huge, challenging task because the numbers that we saw were mind-boggling, and they were really unnerving. The percentage of literacy and things like that. That too among various castes and communities, and men, women, minorities. These are all very, very challenging. Then we need to drop certain programs for each of them and try to do that. So there will be linguistic minority in your place, and how to handle that. When the child just comes out of the house, maybe she is just talking Lambani in her house, or Kadukurumba dialect here, or Mysore, or some other place like that. So that was also very challenging. How do you ask them to come into the classroom, and how do you hold their attention? How do you ensure that an atmosphere is there in the school continuously, irrespective of the level of performance of the child? Because we don't expect everybody to bloom and be rank holders from the day one. It is not so, and we don't want them to be like that. So how to ensure that, how to make them interested in education, how to find meaning for them. It is not just they were growing up, even the system was also growing up to ensure that they are. I can't assure you that the system has grown up completely, but the challenges were tried to be met like that. Those times were very interesting times. Because we are used to saying that Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, and all such things. But here we had to make the child-centric education. You have to ensure that child is with us and she does not drop out so soon, for a number of reasons. The kind of interaction that can be there in the classroom, I hope you'll be able to imagine in a rural setting. People from different communities, castes, they come in. The teacher has to travel all the way 30, 40, 50 kilometers and come. She has her own issues, and the classroom has to be joyful and meaningful. And we should find our own heroes in the classroom, so that we can emulate. Every child has to find something there. No? So these things were very interesting and very challenging.
It's just commendable how you tackled these situations, and I'm sure that these experiences might have added to your journey and help you take forward.
Varsha, I must tell you, this is a huge effort. It's like, no, I told you, Indian Administrative Service. I just don't want to say IAS. There are a lot of people who are involved, a lot of NGOs who are involved, and a lot of people who are interested in that particular sector. This kind of a development journey, what we took from 1950 to 1947 to today, 2025, it has got contributions, and it has got evolution over a period of time. So that is very interesting journey. Once you are a part of it, then it's a lifetime remembrance. You can go on think about it for a long time. Yeah, and it not only in education, be it industries, or be it any other sector that you can think of, anything. So there we had to frame our own rules. Our country had to come out with solutions. We did face a lot of issues with ourselves and with outside also. All these things were a part of our process. I mean, growing up process, development process.
Right. So, as you mentioned earlier, you were Deputy Commissioner of Raichur, and now it's elected Member of Parliament. So, how has your relationship with Raichur evolved over time? And what inspired you to step into electoral politics from retiring as an IS officer?
See, you work very closely with the system. The system which runs the country is basically that democratic elected representative system that is there. So, as an employee, as a person in service, IAS, IPS, IFS, they are all very, very close to those premier, combined civil services, what we call. No, there are about 10, 12, or no more than that. Those services for which the common examination is conducted. So they work in close proximity with the elected representatives. So we are supposed to deliver whatever that has been decided, and also help take decisions appropriately by giving enough policy formulations with backed by data, things like that. So all these things, they bring in kind of a fresh attitudes and what is out of box thinking, which bureaucracy will not be able to do. Bureaucrats are not trying to do that. Bureaucrats are trying to ensure that the ship doesn't what is that rock. It has to be steady and it has to go like. That's why you find bureaucrat is an abominable snowman. He is not a snowman. He's a no man. Always, in the moment you ask something, no, let me see. So no is not the real no. Actually, just wait for some time. Let me check up all these things. I'll come back to you. That is the actual. They should not be saying no. They should be saying yes. So politicians always say yes, yes. Whether they are able to do it or not, they say yes. They give you hope. So this kind of an interaction I had throughout my career of 35 years. So I found it quite fascinating. And also I found it is possible for me. That's what I thought. Because during my journey as, as a commissioner and public instruction, things like that, your size of the department is huge. So when you are doing that, and when people say that no, you seem to have a, a liking for this kind of a leadership role. They somehow mentioned it to me a couple of times. Leaders, I'm not talking about my colleagues. I'm talking about political leaders who said, "Arey, you seem to have a flair for this. Very nice, very interesting." That kind of a encouragement was there. So that also prompted me to think along those lines. So I thought, let me take a chance. I mean, that was not decided at the spur of the moment. That I should be frank with you. You're all youngsters. You can't be bluffed. So it can't be decided in one day that no, I'm going to get into electoral politics. It's very tough, very risky. It has its own, ups and downs. But that was the choice that I made. I thought there is enough chances for me to succeed. Luckily, God's grace and my Raichur people's affection has enabled me to reach Lok Sabha, that too with perfect timing. I retired in September 2023. Okay, as if I was retiring for contesting the next election, 24. The timing was superb. So it just happened. It's not that every time it happens. Why I'm telling you this is, if you are retired and waiting for an election to come after 3-4 years, things may be different. We don't know. We just don't know what happens and things like that, what choice you would be making. I was also looking at other possibilities like joining a private sector. There are restrictions for us to do, or pursuing para government services like being a administrative tribunal members and electricity regulation commission members, or some education, wherever you have worked for some time. There you will try to find an opportunity to keep yourself busy and meaningfully contribute to the society. Whereas this one is a totally new field, and the blessings of Raichur people, I'm here today as a member of Lok Sabha, and I'm taking their aspirations to that's what I told them. ಕೃಷ್ಣ ತುಂಗಭದ್ರಾ ತೀರದಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಧ್ವನಿನ ನಾನು ಯಮುನಾ ತೀರಕ್ಕೆ ತಲುಪಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡನ್. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಮುನಾ ತೀರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟ್ರೈಡ್ ಟು ಡು.
So now that you are a member of parliament from Raichur, and you've now maybe got some time to settle into the role, and then probably understand the challenges that Raichur face and what you can perhaps do to alleviate or solve them. Um, Maybe could you just introduce our listeners to Raichur? What are maybe the current challenges that Raichur faces? and what are your plans for Raichur?
Yeah. So it is an ongoing development kind of thing I have told you. But still, the challenges in the field of education and health are still there. So if you look at the ranking of the districts in terms of education or the health indicators like MMR or IMR, whatever things like that, you find that Raichur, Yadgir, and our Koppal district or Gulbarga district, they are at the bottom. So there is enough work to be done. So we can focus on those aspects also. We are focusing. Education also is the one where we can strengthen the education in terms of ensuring that availability of teachers, classroom interaction, and the quality of interaction in the classroom, and all these things are even today they are. We have to work in cooperation with the department and the ministry at the state level. I coming from the parliament, and the member of parliament has little a role which is different from that of an MLA or local state administration. So I would be perhaps looking at a slightly bigger picture, like what about our railway density, or what about irrigation project, or things like that. So that also is interesting and challenging. So Karnataka has invested hugely in North Karnataka in irrigation. Krishna we had to tap, and we have been able to get. So that is reflected in the kind of agricultural prosperity that you see in those areas today. Coming, if you are from southern Karnataka, you heard of Mandya and things like that. There are many Mandyas there in North Karnataka today, because this is a huge, Krishna is a much bigger river, and there is a lot of irrigation that's happened. But then the society has its own speed, the own rate at which it changes. Okay, so we did have a different kind of a society there, more feudal and more different kind of society as compared to southern Karnataka, where it is more equitable kind of a society. That's how the surplus, whatever that is generated from various activities, is more equitably distributed. I mean to say agricultural surplus, for example. That is not so in my opinion. It's not so. So all those things are happening right now. Slowly, things are changing. Now we move further higher in the ladder of problems. If agriculture produce is there, then the pricing is there. So the other day I had to, we all of us, not necessarily I. So there are many leaders along with me who we fought for getting an appropriate price for chili. In chili, if Karnataka somebody talks, it's only Badgi chili they know. Badgi chili is nothing but the red and long one. No, the moment you see it, your eyes start burning. So that kind of a chili is there. But right now, Raichur, Ballari, Yadgir, we produce a lot of chili. That's used for a number of other purposes, not only for for cooking purpose as spices, but number of other industrial purpose also it is there. So there the prices are not been doing well. How to support the price? It is a new, we have to make an effort, a new crop, and the area is huge, and how much money that is required, whether the state government is capable of delivering that kind of a promise, all these things. We had to fight right up to, I took it up in the Lok Sabha, and I heard another 3, 4 MPs talking the similar language. Those coming from Guntur, you must have heard of Guntur chilies. There are, I'm just giving an example how the things work. So 3, 4 people spoke, and then we went to our Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhanji. So he was the who is the agriculture minister. So ultimately things came, and we have got an order which says that your price is this much. If you get lesser than that, we will compensate. This kind of an effort. So this is one aspect I'm talking. This is not all. We need to talk about seeds. We need to talk about R&D. We need to talk about so many things. But these are the things which are ongoing challenges which are there. Likewise, skill development, employment is another big demand from the youngsters. Whether they have successfully completed graduation, their quality is very high, that is immaterial. They are already now 20 plus in age group. They are ready to contribute to the society. How do you make them employable? How do you give them the skill? Today, you can't look back and say, oh, my SSLC was bad. What were you doing? We have to blame ourselves. I'm talking about the system. Okay. So if my child coming out of Raichur is not equally capable as a boy, as a child coming out of Udupi or Mysore or something like that, then we should ask ourselves, everybody. I'm not talking about one or the other person in the hierarchy or in the system. Everybody has to do. And now we have the end product. How do you make them skilled, employable things? That is also another major challenge that Raichur is facing. I have taken it with, once again, with the government of India. You have programs like that, Skill India and things like that. Whether you can think of skilling my youngsters, it's easier said than done. Everybody wants to come to Bangalore and skill Bangalore guys. Everybody wants to come to Mysore or Mangalore and they want to train them. What about Raichur? What about Ballari? What about our other rest of the places? Okay, they are all youngsters who are coming. So we need to understand the needs differently, think complexly, and try to give them what they deserve. If you put up a program which mandates a training institution being there in that place locally, then I wonder whether you are wantonly doing it. Okay, so I am now in the position to question. I am not a bureaucrat today. I am a politician. I have to raise your voice. I have to fight for that. Okay, I have to really, put them in the corner and ask them the questions. Okay, if you say that the institution should be here, it will be beneficial to Bangalore guys, or it will be helpful for Mysore guys. It will definitely not be helpful for Raichur. Then what is that we want to do? How much, what should be the tweaking of this? These are the matters of interest as I am working today.
So I just got a glimpse of how many problems are actually there and what goes through a politician's mind.
It's very tough, Varsha. I have been not been this busy in the last, 8 to 10 years of my service. I was at the pinnacle, as a principal secretary or the additional chief secretary. So you are at the pinnacle, and the entire system is working, and we need to just guide them or take important final decisions at point of time. Here, I think you got my my day in Raichur, one single day, how it will pan out.
Right, sir. So, across your journey from UVCE to the IAS to the parliament now, what are some personal values or habits that have helped you to stay grounded and effective through all these years?
Okay. Since opportunity does not come often, and you guys will not come and ask me again, so let me tell you whatever I know. Please don't take this as some kind of a boasting. It is just that no youngsters should know, and they should pass it on to people so that no it will be helpful for them too. Obviously, you have to be very dedicated in whatever you want to do. You have to be humble. You have to be consistent. These are three, four different qualities which need to be there so that your aim can be achieved. Very simply put, first of all, you need to know what excites you, what drives you, and know whether you are interested to do this or not. Somebody is very interested in being an extremely good mechanic. The machines excite her. She knows how to solve the problems and things like that. She knows how to do it. A computer excites somebody, and somebody is very dedicated to doing social work in a village, and somebody is so committed to being a good journalist. So we need to understand first. First, let us understand what we want to be. It is easier said than done. But today the opportunities are so large in number, and the scope is so much. It is possible to change way if you have landed up in the wrong track. Also, there are opportunities for cross stream mobility. Also, is there. So you first point is you aim at certain things and start working for that, and don't be hesitant to, from my own experience, don't be hesitant to seek help. You seek help from the God all the time. That's what you have been taught. There is something Almighty, so He will definitely tell you something. But you should go and ask help from anybody. At best, no, she will refuse. At best, he will refuse. What he will say? No, no. Who are you? Why do you come to me? But if you feel that to rise to the next one, I want this to be done. No, this is what I am telling you. Not that I have done myself. Many times I have sat over it and felt very bad. Why I did not go and seek this kind of help? What she would have definitely done? She would have definitely helped me out. Why did I not go? What was my ego, or what was my what do you say? No shyness or whatever it is. So the social skill is also important. I wish the parents and the institutions give the youngsters that kind of a social skill where you negotiate and you ask. Asking means not just that, but you can negotiate and ask them, this is what help I want, kind of thing. I think you youngsters are, who develop startups and you know how to build a team and how to seek investment and things like that. At least for me, that was the issue I was telling. Then subsequently, the another point that I can say is you have to be very consistent and dedicated. That I don't have to tell you. You are all from the premier institution and you have been doing, and that is very important. But consistency is over 1 year, 2 year, 15 year, 20 year. So consistency is a matter of whatever it is. You can go on be consistent throughout your life, and it pays to be consistent. Either your own daily habits or anything that you say. Being a consistent, people will also know this is the kind of guy Adrian is. No, I can believe him. Consistency also makes our life a little easier. That's what I feel. Then being humble while you are interacting, that will go a long way. That's how I felt. No, our Karnataka heroes are fantastic. See, I take Narayan Murthy, see, Sudha Murthy. So they are all so humble and grounded. In spite of being people who changed the entire the paradigm of industry at that point of time, and they have created enormous wealth and aspiration for so many youngsters across the country. But still, they are so grounded. And similarly, all the founders of Infosys. Apart from that, other leaders in Karnataka, like Dr. Devi Shetty, for example. I'm just giving you the names because I can tell you that they are so good and so humble also, and they're able to connect with people just like that. That is a phenomenal kind of a quality that I have observed, and it is very important. It's very important. Even my own colleague, Dr. Manjunath, who was heading the Jayadeva Institute with a lot of grace and leadership for so many years. So he is also so humble and humility personified. That's a big quality, I think. Not that you should allow people to run all over you. That is not what I mean. I meant to say that you should interaction should be welcoming and always cheerful. People who come to us, you are already a very valuable person in the society. As a youngster who is doing this premier course in premier institution, you are already important person. People come to you as you grow. They come to you to seek some help or some assistance and things like that. They come with hope. If you can't deliver that, at least don't spoil it or don't do anything negative. Let them take hope with them. Let them go back and think that yes, it is possible. That kind, not false hope alone. It's not to say false hope. Using our ability, our intelligence, and where we sit and where we are, what we are, we should be able to help people who come to us. It applies while you are working in an organization and outside also. See, that's how ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ. So I will always definitely look at your problem. Not that I will let it go. Why do you say that? Is that the hope is still there. And when you say that, it is not that we just tick it off. We don't know the answer at that point of time. That's why ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ immediately we will get it done or push it along that direction. ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ is to just keep hope alive for.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Chronicles podcast. I know it's quite difficult to take time out of your schedule, your busy schedule, on a weekend to join us and share your experiences. I'm sure most of the students who are listening to this podcast will definitely find your journey interesting. It's definitely a unique one. We don't know anyone who's actually been a seasoned bureaucrat and then transitioned into active politics as a sitting Lok Sabha member. So I'm sure there's a lot of takeaways for our listeners. And to all our listeners, thank you for listening to UVCE Chronicles. If you have any feedback, please feel free to reach out to us on our Instagram handle or email, which will be shown immediately after the episode. But until then, stay tuned to UVCE Chronicles. Bye bye.